I'm going to preview the 3-seed Baylor versus the 6-seed Clemson men's basketball game. And I'm going to mention this up front for the Baylor side of things. Langston Love will not play this game right here. And he's doubtful the rest of the tournament. I'm just going to say that up front. And Missy did get banged up a little bit, like with a back or a rib, in yesterday's game against Colgate. And he played through. It's just, I'm just going to still mention that, just to mention it. Now, I will go over what Clemson has done this year. They're 22-11 overall, and 11-9 in the ACC. And they destroyed an 11 seed New Mexico team. That is a dangerous good New Mexico team by 21 points. 77-56. Who are some players to keep an eye on for Clemson men's basketball? And I will put the outlook on Clemson men's basketball in the description below. PJ Hall, number 24, 6 foot 10 inch, 238 pound center. That's a senior. 10.7 points per game. 50 for 55 on threes. So the dude can't shoot threes at the center position. 121 for 153 on free throws. 6.5 rebounds per game. 1.7 turnovers per game. 0.8 steals per game. 1.5 blocks per game. 3 fouls per game. And it's Joseph Girard III. Number 11. 6'2", 189 pound guard. That's a senior. 15.4 points per game. 98 for 234 on threes. 110 for 116 on free throws. 3.3 rebounds per game. 2.8 assists per game. 1.6 turnovers per game. 0.6 steals per game. 1.4 fouls per game. And there's Chase Hunter, number 1, 6'4", 200 pound guard. That's a senior. 12.5 points per game. 43 for 135 on threes. 86 for 101 on free throws. 2.4 rebounds per game. 3 assists per game. 1.7 turnovers per game. 0.6 steals per game. 1.7 fouls per game. And Ian Shefflin, number 4, 6'8", 238 pound forward. That's a junior, and it's spelled SCHIEFFELIN. I apologize if I got that pronunciation wrong. Okay, 9.8 points per game, 20 for 40 on threes. So he doesn't shoot a ton of threes, but he can make it, and you gotta have to respect that. 60 for 79 on free throws, 9.6 rebounds per game, 2.2 assists per game, 1.3 turnovers per game, 0.6 steals per game, 2.6 fouls per game. And there's RJ Godfrey, number 10, 6'8", 228 pound forward. That's a sophomore. 5.8 points per game, 2 for 6 on threes. So he's not known as a shooter. 24 for 43 on free throws, 3.4 rebounds per game, 0.9 turnovers per game, 0.7 blocks per game, 2.2 fouls per game. There's Chauncey Wiggins, number 21, 6'10", 210 pound forward. That's a sophomore. 5.6 points per game, 27 for 79 on threes. So he can shoot threes. Another big to think about shooting threes here. 15 for 21 on free throws, 2.3 rebounds per game, 0.8 turnovers per game, 1.3 fouls per game. Jack Clark, number 5, 6'10", 207 pound forward. That's a senior. 4.4 points per game, 13 for 47 on threes, 18 for 22 on free throws, 4.9 rebounds per game, 0.8 steals per game, 1.4 fouls per game. Josh Beadle, number 0, 6'3", and 180 pound guard. That's a sophomore. 3.1 points per game, 3 for 21 on threes, 22 for 32 on free throws, 0.6 turns per game, 1 foul per game. And this last guy is actually the brother of Chase Hunter, and he used to be a Baylor signee before getting out of his letter of intent, and he decided to go with Clemson instead. Is Dylan Hunter, number 2, 6'3", 187 pound guard. That's a sophomore. 2.5 points per game, 9 for 33 on threes, 8 for 18 on free throws, 1.2 fouls per game. And I know that's not every single guy on Clemson's roster. First of all, I'm just going over the guys that they usually play, and I did not mention any guys on Clemson that's out for the year when you look at the injury report. So, across the board, you can't expect officiating to be perfect. That's rule number 1. You got to play through the contact at times. and you got to adjust to the officiating and all this, and you got to start just like last game. And I know that's been a problem before this game, but I'm just saying, you got to start fast. I mean, you got to come out with energy and out hustle Clemson first. That's first of all, you got to limit your foul trouble while getting them in foul trouble, especially the better players. I'm just telling the truth all about this. So defensively, contain the shooters, contain the slashers, and do not allow any easy looks, and force turnovers. And you gotta limit your points off their points off turners off of your turnovers. I mean, sometimes the best offense is coming from your defense. You gotta limit the second chance points, and which brings up a point here: rebound the ball. I mean, box out, rebound. You gotta limit the points in the paint too, and you don't want Clemson to live at the free throw line either. I don't care if they make them or not. You don't want to allow that many attempts, especially if it's a late game situation and you're up. Don't foul then, and you gotta be smart with the fouling too. It would be helpful to get some steals and blocks in this game, and all this, and another thing across the board, you got to make adjustments, not just from first half to second half, but possession by possession, timeout to timeout. That's just another normal thing. Another normal thing here. And of course, on offense, you gotta take care of the ball. And you did a good job last game. You only had 12, which I know that's not what Scott Drew wants. He wants 11 or less, but that's pretty close. I mean, really, really close. And you don't want live ball turnovers at that, because you know then teams will capitalize. I mean, they can capitalize. You got to rebound the ball and get some second chance points and some points in the paint. If your 3-point shot is not going in, drive to the basket. I mean, that's the thing. And get to the free throw line if you can. And you got to make them count, especially. I mean, that's the thing. You got to have a good field goal, a good shot selection as well. You want to take care of the ball. Like I said, you got to, obviously, don't want to have illegal screens or offensive fouls and across the board too. You don't want to think about flagrant fouls or technical foul. So you got to keep your cool and composure too. That's another thing across the board. You got to get some transition points. You got to get some points on turnovers, because look, sometimes your best offense is your defense, and they get some points and all this as well, and get some points from the 3-point line. And that's the basics of it, this game. And I know Clemson this year has been up and down some, but this team beat North Carolina at North Carolina. I'm just telling the truth. When you look at it, they've been up, they've been down. And I get they won last game pretty easily. So you cannot take this opponent for granted. And I'm sure the players on the staff are not. I know they're not. This team lost to Boston College, for Christ's sake, by 21 points before the NCAA tournament. So I knew they were going to play angry against New Mexico a little bit. I mean, after all, they did lose to them. And they lost to Wake Forest the game before. They even lost to Notre Dame. So you could tell when they're up, you could tell when they're down. And you don't want to give them any confidence. Make them uncomfortable on both ends of the floor. And whether it's man-to-man defense or zone defense, you got to make adjustments to them both. I mean, and this team even lost to NC State, but at that time we didn't know NC State was going to be an NCAA tournament team, let alone make it to the round of 32. So, yeah, And they even lost to Virginia. But Virginia's not a bad team. They made the NCAA tournament. And I know there's a dispute about them. Should they really make the tournament this year based on that performance in the first four? But that's just a different story in all this. So I'm just going to and mention that up front. And what are some, like, I would love to see Jalen Bridges go off like he did against Colgate in this game right here. I really would. First, that's the first player I'm going to mention. And hopefully East Missy is going to play. And if he does play, he needs to just do his role. Scoring, rebounding, block shots. Jane Nunn hopefully plays like he did last game. And Jacoby Walter as well. And Ray J. Dennis. I know he had 4 turnovers. So that has to be cut down. But that's besides the point. He did everything else good in the game. I mean, and you got to correct what you did wrong from last game to this game. And what you did right last game, you got to do in this game. And Josh Ujawuna, hopefully he steps up in case Missy needs to go out due to foul trouble or injury or not feeling that well. Hopefully he steps up. And Kyle Bloner needs to do his role. Because I know he could score the ball, and he did good in the Big 12 tournament. I know he only had 2 points yesterday on 1 for 3 shooting. But he got 4 rebounds. He's an energy guy, a rebounder, a defender. And maybe at times we might have to have him play at the center position if need be. I know Jonathan Chatwa could play. It's just, he's not the same player as he used to be. But still, if he needs to play, he needs to do his role. And Mira Little needs to do his role coming off the bench as well. So I want to try to keep this under 15 minutes as much as possible here. So, anyway, if you like this content, hit the like and subscribe button. I'll see you guys later. On the road to 600 subscribers, Score's ultimate goal is 1,000 more. Somebody might out to Score's like a video. Comment video really helps YouTube algorithm so more people see. Sharing the video does help as well so more people can watch. And if you're watching and subscribe, hit subscribe button. It's free the notification bell as well. And this game will be played March 24th, tomorrow, or whenever you're watching this, at 5:10 p.m. Central Time on TNT. That's just a reminder at the very end of the video here, because I know there's a lot between now, at the very beginning of the video, till this point.